Hey, hey, hey. It is your girl, your favorite paralegal, aka Cassandra Lynn, and welcome to Legal Doc Talk 24/7. I am coming to you guys today with your request, a Blueface overview. So today we're just going to talk about his criminal and civil cases from 2021 to present. Anything prior to that, I am not so much interested in, as it really didn't have an effect on what is happening today and why Blueface is where he is. So let's hop on into it. So as you guys can see, I have a timeline here, kind of a visual for you guys to understand what happened, what caused him to violate his probation terms, and why he can possibly do some more time in uh, prison. And when I say prison, I mean the county jail. But jail is jail. You staring at all four walls, you don't have freedom, so on and so forth. So while he is locked up, and there has been some conversation about him catching additional charges, on top of him still having to go to Las Vegas and face the judge there. So we're going to kind of break all of this down, give you guys something to think about over the weekend as we head on into next week. So here is a visual of our beautiful, 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 or I should say handsome, Blueface baby, aka Johnathan Jamall Porter. So as we can see here, the very first thing that I want to start off with is the offense in 2021. Now I'm just going to kind of give you guys a synopsis, and then that way when we get to the court docket, you guys can understand exactly where we are going with this. So, what jumped or started this whole thing off was the offense that took place in California, I believe San Fernando, sorry, at a nightclub. So, on September 13th, 2021, Blueface and his associates beat a doorman at the Skinny Lounge in San Fernando Valley. That man was transported by EMS to the emergency room for, further evaluation on his injuries. A police report was filed, battery as well as robbery, because during that time that this man was getting beat, he does claim or allege that one of the attackers stole his chain. That's crazy. So going down to November 4th, that is when he was arrested. And when I say he, Blueface was arrested. So he didn't turn himself in from that time all the way till November of 2021. So they ended up issuing a warrant for his arrest, and then he was later arrested on the 4th for that incident at Skinny Lounge. Okay. Going up on 11/19/2021. Not sure if anybody has heard of this, but based on what I pulled, he was arrested on the 19th and charged with penal code, and I will elaborate on that some more. That particular penal code just meant that it, first of all, it was a felony, but what he was charged with was injuring either a spouse, a cohabitant, a fiance, girlfriend, or child parent. hmm Then we are going to go to almost a year later from that incident, And then we have the incident that took place on October 8th at the Las Vegas nightclub. So that is a case that we are very familiar with, the Euphoric nightclub, the Gentleman's Club. And this is where Contavious Trailer flagged down police, and he alleged that someone shot at him in his vehicle earlier that morning. And he also told officers that he recognized Blueface and his entourage. And we'll dig into that a little bit deeper. But that took place at that time. For a month later, he was arrested for that incident. Going into 2023, May 29th, 2023, he was at the Palms Casino Resort. And what happened? That was with him, Krishan, and his entourage. So a woman claimed that on May 29th, 2023, at the Palms Casino in Las Vegas, she stated that Blueface took her phone, he placed it in his pocket, and then he told her that the phone was now his. Somehow, some way, she managed to get her phone back. But by the time she did that, somebody from the entourage uppercut her. And so as she's falling, Blueface then kicks her in the face, in the chest, and then security intervened at that point. Once security came, they fled. Him, Krishan, the entourage, they said they fled in a Dodge Charger. How they figured that out is because there were surveillance footage. And everybody, I'm pretty sure there were several witnesses that seen that. And so the police actually obtained the surveillance footage as well as cell phone footage of that incident. But then that takes us to June 7th, 2023, when he is then arrested. And you'll understand why he was arrested for that. And then our very own January 12th, 2024, he was arrested in California for probation violation. It is very, very sad that Blueface has continued to, how can I say this? It's like he's continued to do things out of the ordinary and, think that he is above going to jail. And it's not just him. It's many celebrities out there that think that they are above, that they're invisible and they can't be touched, so on and so forth. Right? That judge in Las Vegas specifically told him that she did not want to see him back in her courtroom, or she's pretty much going to throw the book at him. So keep in mind this timeline, because I'm really going to break this down for you guys so you can understand why he is in the hot mess he is in right now. Nobody is above the law. If you have legal obligations, you need to take care of them. If you're going to do whatever it is that you're going to do to break the law or not follow, the terms of your probation, then you have to face the consequence. It's just plain and simple. It is truly plain and simple. I mean, at the end of the day, me as a paralegal, contracting with criminal law attorneys, I'm making money. So I mean, it don't matter to me, because at the end of the day, people still not gonna listen. They need attorneys. Attorneys need paralegals. Therefore, I'm going to get paid. But that's not the case. The case here we're talking about is Blueface. So let's dive into each of his violations and charges and so on and so forth. All right, so let me show y'all my screen. All right, so the first charge that we are going into, and I'm going to change my screen so you guys can, I'll do this one. Okay, so I am going to pull up the first case that happened in September with him and his entourage in San Fernando Valley. Oops. All right. So while this is pulling up, I just want you guys to know that be mindful that this is the case that kind of set off everything. So, and I'll explain it in a second. So, once you violate whatever probationary terms you had in this case, anything afterwards is a violation. Okay, so be mindful of that. So this is like the first domino that fell, and now all the dominoes are just falling. I hope that was a good explanation. So these are his entourage. So it has the same case number, but as you can see, it has 1, 2, 3, meaning that these are the people, the other individuals that were associated with this particular case. Now, I don't know any of his entourage's real names, so I can't say that this is this person, this is that person. I need to do more research so then I could come back, do it probably a part two of this, and you guys could say, oh, okay, so this is him, this is what he was charged with, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to strictly keep it to Mr. Johnathan Porter. Really? All right. I don't know if I took too long on that search or what. So while that is pulling up, once again, the offense date on this one was 9/13/2021. He ended up not turning in himself, so they put out a warrant for his arrest. He was apprehended on, what is that, November 4th, and the case was filed on that same date. All right, so here we are. So as you can see, here is the filing date. It was a felony. He was initially charged with the assault with deadly weapon with force possible, great bodily injury, as well as robbery. That is what he was charged with. As you can see now, the robbery case was dismissed, and it was a plea negotiation. So it's not saying, I took it or I didn't take it. It was just dismissed due to a plea negotiation. Now going up to here, it does show that on November 18th, 2022, he pleaded nolo contendere. And we know that nolo contendere simply means not no contest. What that means is that I am not accepting or declining the events that took place. So I'm not saying I did it, and I'm not saying that I didn't do it. But what I am saying is I'll go ahead and I'll take whatever consequences it is for this particular charge. All right, everybody's with me. All right. So if we scroll down, he had his arraignment on March the 7th. Had a little bit of resettings. Da 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 da. Okay, so from my understanding, and I am also looking at my notes while I am talking to you guys, Blueface was placed on probation for 2 years on this date. And we seen that on the previous screen. So from November 18th, 2022, he could not be arrested or questioned or brought in for anything after this date. So anything that has happened after 11/18/2022 would be considered a violation of his probation. Okay? That's a little, it's like, dang, Blueface, you just couldn't get it together, huh? Just couldn't get it together. And then I'm gonna, once we go through each case, I'm gonna tell you how his probation was violated. So I'm gonna go through here and just read this case, and then I'm gonna hop to the next case and tell you how it's a probation violation. So on the 2nd of December 2022, he had a restitution hearing. So this pretty much meant that he is obligated to pay uh Mr. Trailer a certain amount of money. That's what restitution is. So they had that. On that same date, they also had a non-appearance hearing, which means that they did not have to attend, but he had to submit a report. Now, this is the firearms prohibited relinquished report. This is the same report that Krishan has to issue. The only difference is hers were non-weapons. Blueface's was an actual weapon. So it still applies. Any weapons that you have in your home, you have to relinquish. If you have already, relinquished them, then you have to turn in a report still, but you have to tell them exactly how you got rid of them, who you gave them to, so on and so forth. So it couldn't been that he gave it to, Jaden, or he gave it to Bodine, or anything of that nature. He has to actually turn it into somebody. I don't think reputable is the correct term I want to use, but he has to turn it to the proper authorities. Let's put it that way. All right, so on this particular case, right, 5/26/23, he had a possible violation of probation hearing. That means that from 11 to 18 2022 till May, he did something between that time that caused him to violate his parole. So they had a hearing that he had to attend to. Okay. Now, what happens when you don't attend hearings or you don't follow what you are supposed to do? You end up with a bench warrant. So they had a bench warrant hearing on 7/6/2023. On 8/11/2023, they had a setting of the violation hearing. And then look, we have a lot of probation hearings from October all the way to January. So this probation violation hearing was on October the 6th, and then November 6th, he had another one. And I'm looking at my notes to see. So nothing happened at that time. Okay, so he had another one there, another one on the 8th, another one on the 18th of December, and then we are up to this part, the probation violation hearing on January 12th, which is the same day that Blueface turned himself in. Now, mind you guys that these hearings are in advance. So, in my opinion, I believe he already knew that he was going to go in. And he was making whatever preparations he needed to, because he knew that, okay, on January 12th, I'm going to be locked up. So he was booked on that day. And then on our beautiful April 9th, 2024, there was a proceeding that took place. And that is actually the day that they pretty much said that your probation is revoked and you're going to be confined to LA County. And then we'll go into and look at what his terms of that probation violations was. But then if you look, another probation violation hearing on May 2nd and June 10th. And then he has another one coming up on July 29th. So that means you had, when you were confined to the jail in April, you had three instances that happened that possibly violated your current probation. What are you doing in there, my guy? So on that four, I don't know why it says remains on own recognizance, but he was actually in jail at that time. Uh, so that probation hearing, no bail. On the 610, no bail. Obviously, he's in there doing his time. Now let's go to the sentencing. So for the sentencing, it is still for the assault, possible great bodily injury. So here you can see that it was revoked. So back on November 18th, 2022, he was placed on probation. And like I told you guys before, I don't care whatever other terms there are. One thing you know, you cannot get arrested or charged or questioned or detained by law enforcement because that is considered a probation violation. So keep up with me. So that was revoked. And the judge says, okay, now you got to do your time. So he was confined to LA County Jail for a period of 354 days. Now there is a law in California to where you do 85% of your time, which means that you do a 2 for 1. I am trying to pull that up. Let me pull that up right quick. So California jail sentence. Um, let me see. Let me see. Let me see. I know that there is a penal code, and I should have pulled that up before I got to talking with you guys. But I did read that there was they passed it, I want to say a couple of years ago, as to where you pretty much 2 days counts as one day, or one day. Well, I said that backwards. One day counts as 2 days. So that's why everybody was saying, well, he's going to come home in July, blase, 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 blase. But in all actuality, your boy wasn't ever coming home in July only because Nevada, Nevada has a hold on him. There we go. Nevada still has a hold. So it's still the same situation where Krishan is. Once you do your time, then you have to sit and wait for that state or county to come and pick you up. So it's still the same process. So he would have to sit until Nevada. Now, me in my personal opinion, that judge was, excuse me, she was not playing. She was not playing at all. I do believe that as soon as his scheduled time is up in LA, they are coming for him. Point blank, period. And look at this, the court dates 5/2 and 7/29. I really, really, really want to know what he did. Everything is alleged, so we don't know quite sure what he did, but still alleged. Okay, so that is that particular case. So keep that case in mind. That is the case that started this saga. So the next case that we're going to go into is I usually call it family assault, but every state is going to call it different things. Okay. This is where it stated that he injured a spouse, a cohabitant, a fiance, a girlfriend, or a child's parent. So he was arrested on November 19th, 2021. They ended up filing on December 21st, 2021. It was considered a felony. Okay, that was a felony. He was charged with injuring a spouse, cohabitant, fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend, or child's parents. Now, as you can see, on August 8th, 2022, it was dismissed because of lack of a speedy trial. Now, I'm going to go a little bit further into that, but before I do that, and I'll read it to you guys if you can't see. So, this is the actual penal code for this. Let's see, 273.5A, which is a felony. So any person who willfully inflicts corporal injury resulting in a traumatic condition upon a victim described in subdivision B is guilty of a felony, and upon conviction thereof shall be punished by imprisonment in the state prison for 2, 3, or 4 years, or in a county jail for not more than 1 year, or by a fine of up to $6,000, or by both that fine and imprisonment. So the subdivision B is what they were talking about. Let's see, the offender's spouse or former spouse, the offender's cohabitant or former cohabitant, or the offender's fiance or fiance, or someone with whom the offender has or previously had an engagement or dating relationship, as defined in paragraph 10 of subdivision F of section 243. Okay. So everybody was like, I wonder who it is. Me too. I'm trying to figure out who it is too. Trust me, I've been searching since January. I've been searching since January. But let's get into why the case was dismissed. Now, I've read through this already, so I know exactly where to go. But everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, what happened? Did she drop the charges, so on and so forth?" This is what happened. Well, I'm hoping I read. Let me see. Yes, so this is this. So it is state. So the reason why it was dismissed due to lack of speedy trial is because of this. It states, in the event that the defendant is not brought to trial or for sentencing within the 90 days, the court in which the charge or sentencing is pending shall, on motion or suggestion of the district attorney or of the defendant or person confined in the county jail or committed to the custody of the director of corrections or his or her counsel, or of the defendant of corrections, or of the defendant of the youth authority, or on its own motion, dismiss this action. So if we go back to here, and I'm starting from when it was filed, nothing was going on other than they were trying to schedule hearings. Now, it could be that whoever the defendant, which would be Blueface, and whoever he did this to, they never went further with the case. And that's the only thing that I am thinking of. So initially, if that person is not trying to pursue anything and they scheduling a hearing and that person is not showing up for hearing, then what can the state do? The state can't do anything. So therefore, they are going to dismiss this case, and that's why the case was dismissed. Okay? All right, so that is that case. The next case that we are going to get into is the Las Vegas case. And that is the one. Yeah, I have everything. Um, I have my little notes and everything. So this is the criminal case. So everything that I have gone through is Blueface's criminal side. So he was so the incident took place on October 8th. Excuse me. He was arrested on, well, I don't know exactly when he was arrested, but I know he was arrested for it back in November of 2022. Excuse me, so probably a less than a month or within that month time. What was his charges? So these were his charges. So attempted unaliving with the use of a deadly weapon, discharging a firearm at or into an occupied structure, vehicle, aircraft, or watercraft, ownership or possession of a firearm by prohibited person, meaning your boy shouldn't even had a gun, because going back to the California case, he had to relinquish the gun. Okay. And then also battery. So he had three felony charges and a misdemeanor charged. Now there's plenty of people that have gone through this docket, including me. So I'm not even going to pull up any of the court documents, but the main thing is I want you guys to understand how we got to today. Let's see. On, let's see. So he took a plea on July 3rd, 2023, and then he was sentenced on October 2nd, 2023. So that plea was he accepted the discharging of a firearm at or into the occupied structure and the battery. So a felony and a misdemeanor. She actually dismissed the attempted unaliving and the ownership of him possessing that firearm. Okay. What was the conditions of that plea? Remember, he signed this plea, so that means that he had to abide by everything that was in there. He was to serve 24 months. So, how can I say this? I'm going to take that back. If he would have went to jail, he would have done anywhere from 2 years to a maximum of 5 years. But she said, "You know what? I'm going to put you on paper. Not more than 3 years." So for 36 months, so 12 times 12 times, not 12 times, 12 plus 12 plus 12. Or you could do 12 times 3. So he has suspended probation not to exceed 36 months. And then it says, in addition to the standard conditions of the Division of Parole and Probation, which are imposed, defendant must comply with the following conditions. So we know that 1 and 3 counts were missed, and the only remaining counts was the battery count and the discharging a firearm, right? So his condition, and I hope you guys can see this, I'm gonna blow it up so everybody can know. Pay attention to the timeline. Remember the timeline. First and foremost, do not enter. Stay out. Stay out of the strip corridor, any gaming institutions, and the downtown corridor. Defendant can only be in those areas if defendant has work application or some other legitimate basis to be there. 2, no contact. No contact whatsoever with Mr. Trailer or his family, either directly or indirectly. Impulse control counseling. Complete impulse control counseling class. Do y'all think Blueface has attended any classes? I don't think so. Number 4, abstain from use, possession, control of alcohol, no use, possession or control of alcohol or drugs, including marijuana, during the term of probation. 5, maintain full employment. 6, comply with curfew imposed by probation officer. 7, report to parole and probation after sentencing So they signed him a parole officer, a probation officer, and he was to report to that person. And number 8, digital storage media. So he had to submit his digital storage media or any digital storage media that he had, which includes computers, handheld communication device, and any network applications associated with those devices, including social media and remote storage devices to search and all it look he was to provide all of his passcodes, his unlike codes, his I said unlock codes, account information, anything associated with those items. So it didn't matter. They didn't need a search warrant to get this information. It was already in the order that if they say, hand me your cell phone, give me your passcode, I can search through it. So if he went to a probation officer to report in and the PO says, give me your phone, and he already got the passcode, but if it was a new passcode, what's your passcode? He can search his phone or his laptop or any type of electronic device. Yeah, so it's in there. So can't nobody say, well, they don't have the right to. Yes, they do. If that judge ordered that, that's exactly what needs to happen. Okay, so let's see. All right, so he got the time served for the battery, and oh, I just seen something. Oh man, Law and Crime Network. I'm about to find this and we about to watch this. So media requests. So anytime, and this is kind of deeping away from what I'm talking about, anytime a news channel or someone or some business like Law and Order Crime Network wants certain documentation, they have to put in a media request and they are able. So like TMZ and stuff like that, it's not that they could just go and pull the records. No, they have to if they want to get the whole file, they have to submit a motion to get that, and the judge has to sign off on it, which is pretty cool. But anywho's going back to this one. So we all know that as of right now, he has violated this probation. He has violated this probation. And so he had 3 criminal cases, but one was dismissed, the family assault. But he has the ongoing California case as well as this case. Now, how can I even say this? So going with the California case, when this club case happened, this violated the California case. Okay. So the club incident happened, that violated the California case. When Blueface was at the Palms Casino with Krishan and he stole the phone and allegedly kicked the girl, that not only violated this probation for Las Vegas, but it also violated the probation back in Cali. Y'all catching on? So anything that he has done thus far, criminal wise, has not only violated California, but it also violated Nevada because he is on probation. And let me go. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's see. Comply with curfew. Yeah. Even with the Salt Lake City. Uh, everything that this right here. Was he checking with his PO? We honestly don't know. But something is going on. He violated one of these. Well, we already know he violated because he was in Las Vegas. By him being in Las Vegas at Palms Court, this is number one. He violated number one off the rip. If the judge got wind of any videos, He has violated number 4, number 6, and let's see, because he's not supposed to be doing any of this. No drugs, no alcohol, and there is proof that he has done both on camera. Has he taken a class? I don't think so. what what does Blueface look like going to the class? Okay. That's just like our girl Kashawn. She had 120 hours at a homeless shelter. Did she go do that? No. Now, this when the incident with Junior happened on Twitter, that was my biggest thing. It's like, okay, dude, it's a reason why they wanted access to your media, your technology, your phone, your laptop, and everything of that nature, because they need. I'm pretty sure Blueface. Well, we all seen it. I'm not even saying. I can't even say pretty sure. We have seen it. This man probably has a dozen photos in his phone. He probably has a dozen videos, social media every single day, Twitter, like all of that stuff. And like I have told you guys before, even with the social media, even though he goes back and he deletes everything, that means absolutely nothing, because they can subpoena Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, or Meta, which includes Instagram, your iCloud storage, your Google storage, that can be subpoenaed. Just because you delete items out of those storage, they are still stored somewhere. I know this for a fact because I have subpoenaed I have subpoenaed these entities, and I have seen what has been deleted. So there is a very, very good reason as to why that judge said, I need access to any digital storage media that you have. That's wild. So that goes back to our timeline as to how our boy, your boy, not my boy, I'm not too fond of Blueface, but that kind of shows you how he violated each of this. Now, here's the thing. On 11/19, this right here, that could, let me see. I'm trying to go back and I don't want to go. I want to see if that, because remember, if you are arrested, that is a violation of your probation. No. So this arrest was not a violation because he was not placed on probation until 2022. So a year later, he was placed on probation. So that arrest means absolutely nothing. Anything after 11/18/2022 was a violation. Yep. So anything. So this man here, let me see. I just want to make sure that I have everything submitted. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Some may have a question. They was like, well, if he was if the incident in Las Vegas happened in October, how does that violate his probation in California if he wasn't placed on probation until on, let me see, what is that, November 18th, 2022? Yes, the incident happened prior to him being placed on probation, but he was arrested. That's a whole different story right there. He was arrested, and you're not supposed to be arrested while you're on probation. And on top of that, he steals the phone. He's not supposed to be in Vegas, so on and so forth. So then so you get arrested for probation violation in Vegas, which means that it goes back to you even being violated, not being violated, Lord Jesus. That means that you violated your California probation. And I hope y'all got that. So if he violated his probation for Vegas and was arrested because of probation violation, he violated again the California. So it's just like back and forth, back and forth. So that concludes just the criminal portion. I am going to do a part 2 for the civil cases because he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 civil cases, and I am going to do a separate video for that. But I just want you guys to understand that the 2 main cases, the Cali case and the Las Vegas case, these are 2 cases that Blueface really needed to pay attention to. Whatever is going on inside of that county jail is not making his situation any better. Not at all. It is sad, for one, that our Black men are taking this persona that it is okay to be bad and it's okay to go to jail when it is not. All you have to do is follow the rules of the land, and it can be peaceful for everybody. You can live your life. Like if you want to be a rapper, if you want to have people under you, if you want to be a businessman, how can you go any further if you have stuff like this going on? It's really getting out of hand. All you got to do is take care of your legal obligations, get through them, so that way you be off papers and you can do whatever moves you need to do so that you can grow. But tell me what you guys think. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is part 1. Part 2 will be uploaded probably later on tonight or tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, definitely leave them in the comment section and I will get to them. Until then, be blessed, and I'm out.